Today on the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast, Congress is introducing a bill that may drive music streams from fractions of a penny to 1 penny per stream. Is that something that they really can do? Also, we're going to talk about Meek Mill's first album week, and Drake signs new artist for Beatz to an EP deal, along with a host of other things. So stay tuned.
Arkatech Beatz.
What's up, everybody? It's the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast. We are your hosts, platinum producers, Arkatech Beatz. I am Juggernaut.
I am Mike, Trauma D.
And together we make the super duper group, Arkatech Beatz. If it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure you like, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Make sure that you're lining up every week. We talk about different situations in the music business, really trying to help folks navigate this crazy music business and learn the music business one step at a time. But let's get into this. Congress talking about a new bill to raise the streaming royalties. I guess they just figured out that you can't make a living wage as an independent artist. So basically what they want to do is they want to see if they can find a way to get it from fractional pennies per stream to 1 penny per stream. But of course, it means that the subscriptions would have to change in terms of for the users. Mm. So then they they want a royalty cap as well, so that if you generate at least 1 million streams per month, the royalties generated beyond that would basically be divided amongst all artists. I'm not even sure what that means, but it sounds like a tax like we talked about in the background. But let's get into it.
Sounds like a lot of craziness going on with that bill. There's a couple of issues that I see off the top without diving too deep, but 1 penny, 1 cent,
1 cent per stream. It sounds right on the. It sounds good, like 1 penny per stream, but they cap you at 1 million. So after you make $10,000 a month,
so a million streams, that's 10,000.
Yeah,
is my math right?
That's gonna be $10,000 a month. 4 million streams, unless my math is bad. I'll double check.
So $10,000 a month. That's equivalent.
0.01. Yeah, it's 10,000. Yeah.
So that's equivalent to maybe having an executive position at a company salary. Like, what's that? A $200,000 salary, roughly, maybe.
So the question would be asked is that if it's at 1 million streams per artist, or is it per song? Like those are the questions that have to be kind of asked.
Right.
Because you can, as an artist, you can do several million streams a month,
Right.
Based off of your catalog.
So is it per song, per project, or per artist?
Like, I'm going to say it's per song.
Yeah.
But the issue that we're gonna find is that, listen, I'm all for us raising the rate, but what I don't like is the cap. What's the cap about, and why should anything earned over the million be divided to other people?
Right. It's a tax, pretty much.
What's the logic behind that? So, you're still putting a ceiling on our earning potential. That's the problem.
Is that similar to like a regular job, and then you're taxed and that money is used for other things? I think that's what it feels like. It's like it's just another general tax.
I guess it's a way. I guess they say it's a way to make it sustainable, because I guess at that rate you can't make it sustainable.
Right.
But if you're going to pass on, there's a few ways to do it. If you're going to pass on the price to the subscribers, then you can pass it on to the advertisers too.
Right.
Right. And now, like, why does that only go to the subscribers? Send it to the advertisers as well.
And it says to all artists. Like, is that even clear?
What they're betting on with that, all artists, is they know that there's still a large swath of artists that do not register their songs properly.
Right. Right.
Right. So what they're betting on is that the ones that don't take care of their copyrights and their publishing administration correctly, that money will go into a pot and it'll disappear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It gets siphoned off slowly.
Yeah. Like this is the game. The game is going to be based off of the ignorance of the independent artists. And then it's almost predatory if you think about it.
But on top of that, who monitors all of this?
You can't monitor it. Like that's the whole point behind it. Like you can't monitor this. You can't. This anything dealing with streaming. I look at the camera and I tell the camera anything dealing with streaming. You can't monitor this joint. You're all at the mercy of the DSP.
DSPs. Yep.
You don't know what is streaming. You don't know how many people are really listening. You don't know if it's bots or not. You don't know. Like there's no way for you to know.
You're pretty much going off of whatever they tell you.
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm supposed to pay you, I'm basically telling you how much I'm supposed to pay you. Like, hey, Jug, you streamed 30,000. There's no way for you to really fight me on that.
But Mr. Mike, my fans, I have 1 million fans. What do you mean I stream 30,000?
Hey, it's 30,000, buddy. So we're gonna pay you on 30,000. That's it. Our records say 30,000. I don't know what your fan. Our records say 30,000, and that's what we're paying you on.
And we saw your post, and it said that you told them to stream it at night, and that's considered streaming fraud. You can't tell them when to stream it, how to consume the music.
So we'll remove that from that 30,000 that we're going to pay you.
Yes.
Like they can do whatever they want, man, and that's why, like, I really want to urge all like content creators, whether it's whatever the content is, whether it's art, whether it's music, like whatever it is, man, please have your own website, man. Have your own website. Control your own destiny. Control your money. Control your product. Control everything so that you can see everything. Because when you give it to another party, a third party, you have no idea what's going on. You don't know if you're being taxed. They can raise the fees. They can do whatever the hell they want to you. Have this direct to consumer relationship so that you have this thing with your consumer. You could charge what you need to charge, and you could see the money. You could see how much you're being paid for each product and know where it's going. Because this is, it's like we're fighting every week for, rights for somebody else's platform to pay us this. Spotify, the percentage is too low, the royalty rate is too low. It's frustrating and it's a headache. Have your own setup, man, because they're gonna do whatever they want, and they're gonna continue doing this.
It's crazy, man. They said this bill aims to boost artists' streaming royalties from fractions to the penny by way of a new fund. So basically you got to fund it. So I guess that's probably why they want the cap, and anything over the cap goes into a fund.
But you don't know what executives have access to the fund. Who gets it? Who gets the kickback? Because the major labels are part of these companies, man. Like you don't know what incentives and initiatives are going on behind the scenes. You don't know.
So check this out now. It proposes It proposes to fund the additional royalty payments in part by mandating the addition of a fee to every streaming subscription equal to 50% of the subscription price, an amount that would be set between $4 and $10. So, in a inflationary system that we already have, let's say, for example, you're paying, how much you pay for Spotify now? About $14 a month? If you're on a family plan? So you can add 50% to that. So that's like what?
I got so much subscriptions going on right now. I don't know up from down. It could be $6.99. It could be $9.99 at this moment.
Yeah, so it will also establish a royalty cap that generated at least 1 million streams per month. And, I don't know. Again, it says the bill would not affect the existing payout model, but rather establish a separate fund on top of what artists already receive under the current system.
It was so much easier for physical CDs and cassettes.
But you know what I don't like though, Mike? like think about it like this. How long Spotify been out now? 15 years? Right? Give or take. You guys got fat, man. Give it back.
But
give it back. Like you guys already got fat. Like this is what makes me so angry about it, is that you guys went like basically you can do whatever you want for the last 10, 15 years. You guys went, you raped and pillaged everybody. All right, now you got to give a little bit back. That's it.
Nah, they used to the comfort that it has given them, and they're not going to let go. And Joe, on another level, it just kind of came to me that, since the birth of these streaming services, is that one of the reasons why the value of music has dropped?
This episode of the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast is brought to you by our own ebooks, The Songwriter's Guide to Song Registration, The Musician's Guide to Music Copyrights, The Musician's Guide to Music Publishing, and The Ultimate Guide to Forming Your Own Music LLC. All of these books are really essential for artists, producers, musicians to really learn how to navigate the music industry and how to really make a living off of your art. So just make sure you go pick those up. Those are available at arkatechbeatz.com. We're going to put a link in the description, and thank you guys for supporting.
Absolutely.
Think about the physical CD and the physical cassette, the physical vinyl, and how valuable that piece, that product is. It was almost like there's only a certain amount made. That's it. So that alone creates its own value. If you don't got it, you may not ever get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But with streaming, you always have access to the same records. You always can get it. Anybody can get it. No problem. It's convenient for you. But when there was CDs or cassettes or vinyls, you had to go out and search for it. You had to stand in the rain for a day sometimes, to get that piece of vinyl autographed. And it was valuable, because it was a physical, tangible piece that not everybody had. They could press up 1 million copies and that's it until there's a reorder, or that's if they decide to press up any more. So it's interesting on that level how, that has helped in the kind of demise of the value of the music in a sense.
You just gave our viewers a prime key, because value is based on rarity, right? Like you just said, if there's too much of something, it lowers the value. If it's not enough of something, the value is increased exponentially.
Yeah.
I.e. Bitcoin, right? Let's say Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, the halving takes place. It starts to increase in value because it becomes more rare every 4 years. All right, cool. So now when you say that, now it makes me feel like the concerted effort to destroy NFTs had to come from the industry. Because NFTs would have been able to now put Rarity back into music.
Yeah. Yeah.
An artist could turn around and say, hey, I have, say, for example, Kanye West has Vultures 2 coming out. And you know that he's already an art type guy. Mm-hmm. What if he said, I'm going to turn Vultures 2 into a limited edition NFT? 1 million copies.
That's it. Wow. And it's not something you can bootleg either.
Right. 1 million copies, OpenSea, set it up, put your royalty attached to it for resale in perpetuity. Have at it.
That's it.
What happens?
The value just goes through the roof.
It goes through the roof. The man mess around, make $100 million off that album.
That's wild. Yeah. But what just happened is
mess around, make $1 billion off of that album.
But what just happened is you put value back in music, in art, as it should be. And I think that's something that's been removed over the past decade. There's no value in it anymore per se. You know, they removed it by making it so, you know, first of all, the entry barrier is so low to get in. You know, anybody can upload it, anybody can make beats, anybody can, you know, with all this technology, anybody could get involved, you know. Anybody could get a microphone and get some software, because the software is relatively cheap or even free in some cases, you know. So not only can you record, make beats, and we're not even talking with the insertion of AI on top of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can like, the barrier is low. So already the value of creating music, the value of that is that it's low. Then you can actually get it on the platform easily. There's no value in that. There's no value in, oh, let's get a record deal, and the only way it could come out is through record companies. There's no more of that. So that value of that is gone. And every step of the way, the value has been removed. Now you have millions and millions of just anything available. At any time of the day, night, you pull out your phone, it's there. The value is gone. You know what I'm saying? There's no, okay, you got to have the CD. You got to have the cassette. You cop that yet? Nah, I ain't get it yet. I got to go get mine. Yo, you better get it. So the store sold out. The spot don't got it anymore. You know, you got to run down and go get the record. You got to go run down and get the vinyl. Oh, I ain't got it. Can I get a cop? Nope. You know, like, the whole value is gone.
I think that is the way. I think your boy has to take your blockchain.
Yeah.
If he does that, it's game over.
That is the way to insert what's missing.
Yeah. Right now,
You know,
like you said, the rarity.
The rarity. You know, I know RZA was trying to do that with one of the Wu-Tang albums at one time.
Yeah, one of one.
Yeah, and because he saw what was coming, you know.
And people didn't get it.
People didn't get it.
People didn't get it. Like, it was hard to understand. Why would you sell an album for $1 million? People didn't get it. It wasn't for everyone to have.
Right. And what makes it special is because it's only one made. You know, and only you and your select few could probably hear it, and that's it. And only you and a select few can enjoy this. And you got to pay up for that. And that's what increases the value.
It's crazy.
If you want this, you got to pay for it. You got to work, you got to save, you got to do whatever you got to do to get this, to enjoy it. This is a luxury. You know, and we need to go back to treating this as a luxury.
I think the whole penny conversation and everything, like, to your point again, I think again it seems like it's something that would help the artists in the beginning, but I think anything that keeps artists from creating their own infrastructure and being able to gather their own customer data, it's a fake out.
It's a fake out.
People have to realize that in the long run, you being able to have access to your customers and your data is more valuable than the one penny could ever be.
Blockchain, man, is where it's at, man. I can't reinforce that. If you don't know about blockchain technology, you know, I suggest that you do some research and really understand it, because depending where you are in your career and what type of content you are putting out, you can really utilize the blockchain to increase the value of your content. Pushes rarity and increases value. Because right now, you got your content on other people's platforms. I mean, and it's up for grabs. You don't know what's happening. Look at TikTok now. Can we talk about TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok too. We got to talk about it because Congress is trying to ban it again. You know what I'm saying? It's like
what happens if TikTok goes away?
um
And all of the people that's been creating a living on TikTok, businesses on TikTok, you know, their income, everything's tied into TikTok. What happens if TikTok just goes away? What happens to those creatives? What happens to those businesses?
so they go belly up. What this looks like to me, right? And just for people who have some context, basically I want people to understand this is via the Associated Press. A bill that could lead to popular video sharing app TikTok is being unavailable in the United States is quickly gaining traction as the House lawmakers voice concerns about the potential for the platform to surveil and manipulate Americans. Look, let's not act like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Google don't already do that.
Right.
Like, let's stop. Let's cut the bullshit. I think a lot of what we're seeing with this for TikTok is because they can't control it the way that they have the thumb on Google and Facebook and YouTube. The way that they used to have Twitter, they wanted it like how they used to have Twitter. But since Elon bought it, they don't have that strong arm anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have TikTok and Twitter outperforming the other two that they got control over because that's government control that they can use. But in this type of situation, like you're saying, it's going to destroy, I don't know how many jobs. It's going to destroy so much people. So many people are making a living through this social media right now. And the Congress don't even care about that.
No. So,
and it said the bill advanced out of committee with a unanimous bipartisan vote of 50-0.
And you got to understand the people who's in these positions, man. The people that's like throwing these votes down, man. These old fuddy duddies, man. A lot of them don't even understand some of this stuff. They just know they want.
The greater question is that what about the constituency that they represent? Do they have a say in it? Are you voting the way that that who voted for you want you to vote? Yes, that's the real question. Because I'm sure that you have 137 million Americans on TikTok. And I'm sure that they don't want it to be banned. So my question is, how did you guys even get the steam to do this? Is this a representation of the United States public, or is this just what you guys want? You guys engender inside of that.
Look, it could be so many different things, man. We could even go as far as saying, politicians tell you anything to get themselves in office.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll do this. I'm with you, and then they get in, and then things happen. There's plenty of politicians that promise things and don't deliver. But for the sake of not going too far into the political world, this is the Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast. A lot of people who's creating, music or anything having to do with music or art, and if you're on TikTok, if I were you, I would make sure that, you have a personal website set up.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Right now. like
if you have a business or you got something growing or developing, you better make sure that your website is up to date and it's readily available to be getting consumer information, emails, contact. And we say this over and over and over again. We cannot stress this enough. You have to know your consumer, because if TikTok goes down, how are you going to communicate with those consumers that have been helping you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Real talk. Listen, I don't think people understand. I think this is something that you and I have keep talking about. And I guess we're going to have to create something for people to learn, because at the end of the day, they may be looking at it as too daunting of a task to set up their own situation. And to be honest, it's easier than ever. Yes, you need to be a little technical, have a little technical savvy to it, but it's nothing that you can't find in terms of tutorials online, or courses to kind of get you through it, to set up what needs to be set up. Like, I think in a general sense, the TikTok ban, what I would hate to see is what's going to happen to the economy. for that.
Right.
All these people who have post-pandemic have decided not to go back into the office.
Right.
Who have decided to take their situation online. Like this is bad when you look at it. Do I think that it's going to get all the way through to the president to sign off? I don't think so. I think that the public pressure may kind of prevent it. But to me, it seems like they seem like they owe Zuckerberg a favor for the last election, man. So they look like they're really trying to get this bill to pass, because they know that once that platform goes down, the only benefactor is going to be Instagram and Facebook. They know it. So it almost seems like a concerted.
Yeah, it's like getting rid of his competition.
Yeah, that's the deal. That was the deal. I think that was the deal for, quote unquote. I know this is political. People are going to say it's political, but when you ban a presidential candidate, or you ban a president from a social media platform, like what was the deal behind you being able to do that? That's just another. That's me just saying, just looking at being Captain Obvious. Like, it just kind of doesn't really seem right. But
I mean, when we talk about the music business, it is a business, and the economy. It's all tied in.
Yeah,
it's all tied in. When people are losing jobs, when people are having a hard time, paying their bills, and then you put these things in the way to make it even more challenging. Like, for creatives, it's all tied in, and we all got to pay attention. We all got to make sure that we're doing things that when third parties start to go rogue, when third parties start to do whatever they want, that you'll be able to survive through the chaos. Yeah. And, being independent, that's what it's all about. Being able to survive independently without having to be attached to these third parties, and there has been a shift, throughout the years about being independent. People have been going back to being independent and seeing the value of being independent, owning your content, owning your masters. And, we just got to make sure that we're, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and ensuring that we're taking the necessary steps to ensure that and cultivate that. Because if you don't own your own, if you don't have your own content, if you don't own your masters, all of these things, if you don't own and have your things set up so that you can speak to your consumers directly and have those relationships directly, if you're relying on third parties solely, you're setting yourself up, man. You're setting yourself up. And, there's no way for you to be able to grow and feed yourself and your family. I mean, it's a tricky game we're living in. It's a tricky times.
You're gonna be at the mercy of a Congress that really doesn't care about you if you're not coming.
You got to think every individual person in Congress is thinking about their own thing too.
Yeah,
I know. outside of what they do at Congress, they have to leave, go in their car, go home, and do them. Yeah. And they're gonna be biased no matter how they feel. They're gonna be biased. They're human. They have feelings. They're gonna go with what they feel is best for them, and that may not align with what you're doing. Right. So I highly recommend everyone to make sure that they have something for themselves versus, hooked up to a third party, waiting for Congress to sign this and that for their behalf. It's like,
waiting to get the penny.
Waiting to get the penny.
Yeah, like you ain't.
And if you get, and honestly, even that's not still enough. The way this economy is going, so you could get that. And then you're cheerleading that, we got the penny, now what? Now the economy, now everything inflation just went through the roof.
Right.
Now
so
what?
The penny don't really mean anything.
They gave you this. Now on the back end, they're going to flip it like this, and our eggs are going to be $10 a carton.
Gas gonna be $10 a gallon.
Yeah, so you really gotta pay attention and make the necessary moves. And that's why we try and offer this information, trying to give you books and all of these things to kind of, just arm yourself so that you can position yourself properly.
I think what the main takeaway should be for a lot of artists and musicians now is no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. There's no one coming to save you. Like once you kind of understand that there's no one coming to save you, then you kind of start taking it a little bit different in terms of what's happening.
What happens now to the music, the big music execs?
Everybody getting laid off. You see it. We were just talking about it. Like every major label got layoffs. Last week we talked about this UMG. What? Every major label got layoffs coming in, and it's all coming through the middle levels. But this is classic reactionary music business. It's not in the forefront of technology. And if it was doing that, you could have been skilling up these people versus now talking about layoffs. Right? Mm-hmm. Like now you're trying to say, hey, you don't need these folks. But the question is, did you help to really get these folks skilled to see what's happening in the whole scope of what's going on in terms of AI and everything? Like, did you teach these people what's going on? Like, you guys never pivoted. Like, now you guys are pivoting in the fourth quarter. The game is almost over. Now everybody's talking about laying everybody off, but they're like, you guys never really took the situation real serious. Same thing with the movie industry. You guys never took this AI shit serious. Y'all didn't take it serious. Y'all guys thought it was just thought it was a pipe dream, or I don't know who was advising you guys. Are you guys using it? Do you know what's happening here? So it's like, this is trippy to watch. So yeah, am I surprised? I'm not surprised that people are getting laid off in droves. Because if you've used this AI, if you've created your own assistants, if you've been able to take say for example, you can take your entire process for certain things and feed it into an assistant for an AI or make a GPT for yourself. You're replacing people because now you have a system that knows what you need to do. It can spit out everything. It can analyze data. It can code. What? It's like, what are we talking about here? It's like, yeah, people were going to get laid off in droves, man. Like if you weren't preparing these people for what was happening. So at least on some levels, some folks should have taken it upon themselves and say, hey, let me learn this AI shit.
Right.
Before it comes and just wipes everything out. Like if I want to create a marketing plan, I just put it in the joint. It's going to tell me what to do. It's going to give me every single step in Facebook, how to structure the ad, what's going to be the hook.
Quickly too.
Yeah. What's going to be the audience? What's going to be the interest? Like I no longer need a person.
Yeah.
To do that. Now,
how long it takes a person to do that?
Listen, granted, I still have to have some information in terms of how to prompt it, right? Mm-hmm. So I still need to understand Facebook ads, so forth and so on. But, the system is going to assist you with it. And if you can put the two together, take what I already know, my experience, now add that onto it, it's like supercharging you.
Yeah.
But you have to understand how to get the output from the AI, because that's another story. Because now they've started to put more. They started to put more copyright protections in here. Mm. So now, when you're putting in documents and things like that you wanted to pull from, it's not giving you. It's very apprehensive in pulling data from things that are copyrighted now. All of a sudden, I don't know if that's the new way to try to prevent plagiarism and copyright infringement. So now when you're putting stuff into it, if it doesn't feel like you own what you're putting into it proprietary, it's being very selective about what it's outputting in terms of interpreting and summaries and so forth and so on. I guess that's the way to protect the industry until everybody catches up. But at the end of the day, I can't see the labels. There was no way to keep these folks on. Then you guys messed around, took your music off of TikTok. Who told you to do that? Then you guys have been complaining since last year, said you didn't know how to break artists. If you didn't know how to break artists, who was going to keep the job?
Yeah. This just sounds crazy to me, man. Like the whole thing from all of those situations you're just saying. You know, you don't know how to break artists, you remove your stuff from TikTok. Like, you know, my question was, man, if you're an artist, you know, can you sue UMG for this? You know,
you could try.
Like, but it also goes back to what I'm saying about, you know, when somebody else, you know, owns.
Control your destiny.
When somebody else owns your product and they could do whatever they want. So when they remove it off a platform like TikTok and you kind of like need that, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like other people are making decisions for you that's going to affect you without even consulting with you. That's the worst part.
So now they're saying they're going to drop artists too on top of it. But you know and I know artists should have been got dropped. There were so many artists. There were so many artists that got signed for bullshit. They were getting signed for these fabricated numbers. Like, you know, and I guess we could tell a story. Can we tell a story about, you know, the time when we was going to a certain major label and we would meet we were meeting with a certain president at the time. Mm-hmm. And a certain president said, "Hey, I got all of these groups." A certain label president from a very, very prominent label said, "I got all of these acts that I don't know what to do with them."
Yeah. He pretty much threw it on our lap.
We look at the spreadsheet and we like, who is this person? Yeah, I never heard this person.
All right. So let me give it a little more context. So we went into a meeting with an executive at the top of the food chain, pretty much.
Top of the food chain. Yeah. Top of the food chain.
And, you know, this person laid out, you know, all of these artists that were signed to the label and kind of just gave us the names of everything and for us to check it all out. Because he didn't know what to do with them, you know, like they were just all there, you know. So one by one, we were checking their socials. We were checking, we pretty much checked everything individually. And we couldn't figure out how they got their deals for the most case. Some of them, the music was decent, but not big.
All of it was mediocre. Mid.
There was some that was decent. Just like it was like you could listen to it and be like, okay, this is a decent record. There was some that's absolute garbage. And there was some you just like you had no idea what's going on. They were fooled. The label was fooled into signing these artists.
Yeah.
Because now, X amount of years later, when I look back at those same artists, they're no longer there. Not only they're not there, there is nothing substantial that happened in those artists' careers independently.
Which basically means that they fabricated their way into their situation from the beginning.
There's no shows with a following. There's nothing. There's no merchandise. There's nothing going on. In some of them, there aren't even any YouTube videos. Like, how? So it just goes to show that the record labels, I think they're just behind. They're behind. They've been behind. They're trying to play catch up. They've been trying to play catch up, and it's not working. It's not working, and now they're suffering. They have to now. Technology has changed and evolved so quickly, and they're trying to run behind and adapt. And you and I know that when it comes to being creative and for a record label to be involved with a person that's creative, you got to be in the forefront of change.
Right.
And then you got to see it coming and be able to either move and adapt or be the ones to make the change. And for them to be playing catch up, like Atlantic Records laid off 24 employees from their video and radio department. Video department in 2024? The hell is that? What is that? What's a video department?
Well,
like,
remember, you still have to organize. Wait, you still have to organize the creation of video content, and you still have to curate that, and you still have to get it distributed. Remember, now you may say this is all automatic once you go into the portal and you press the go button, right? But there may still be certain things that you have to do in terms of making sure that all the metadata is together and making sure that those things, carry over to the other aggregators like, Venmo,
that's social media content, social media marketing.
Yeah.
There's a whole title for that. Which funny enough, those individuals are being replaced
by those people.
Yeah.
But
so you're doing that now?
But what should have happened is they should have been skilled up. And that's the situation. Like, you already have people that you've been working with that are trusted individuals. We're supposed to see what the situation is, and somebody's supposed to skill you up. Like, this is the classic situation in these organizations. Is that, I think, and you and I talked about this earlier. Like, these are organizations that are based off of KPIs, and for those who don't understand that, those are called key performance indicators. This is the music business. Things go high, things go low. If you want to maintain your job in this business, you have to basically create your worth or create your value. So nobody should be sitting around doing things the antiquated way. Everybody should have been learning social media marketing. You
cannot leave it up to the company, because obviously
I'm not saying the company. I'm saying
no loyalty. There is no loyalty, obviously, and they're going to look and say, you know what? It is cheaper. It is much cheaper for me to get rid of this individual who's getting paid probably 60 to 100 grand plus benefits. It is cheaper for me to get rid of this person who's
high agency,
right? And at a higher age, and probably looks at things are stuck in a certain way. And it might be easier for me to hire a person who's 20, who only wants maybe $30,000, $40,000, and is new, fresh, already knows AI, already knows social media, already been doing it, and does it quicker. I don't have to train them. I could get them in there and they hit the ground running. It's going to cost more for me to train this person, and I'm already paying them 60, 80, 100 grand.
Hey man, you sound like the corporate machine, man.
We got to play for both sides. So the only reason I'm saying this is because you, as a person who's in these positions, you have to look at the playing field and say, look, I need to make sure that I'm being well versed in what's happening. When technology is happening, you better get yourself involved in the AI and all those situations, because these companies, when it's time to restructure and downsize, they're going to look for the young kid who could do this on the fly.
Yep. There's no doubt about that. And you're seeing it happen in real time.
Yeah.
And I feel for these folks that are losing their jobs. I do.
Yeah.
But
it's whack. It's whack to be at a company for 20, 30 years, and you put in your blood, sweat, and tears, and you built them up. You broke many artists, made millions and millions and millions of dollars, to now you're being laid off because we want to restructure. We want to go a different direction. We messed up, actually. We didn't give you the tools and things that we needed to ensure your stability and ours.
Yeah. And continue success, yeah.
Shit's whack.
It's real whack. And I think now, when I look at it, so what can be done? when we say, okay, if we're in these positions, and let's take some of the experience that we had with that situation where we had all of those artists that were signed on some pseudo A&R numbers. Like, I'm going to say pseudo because it's not even real. Like I don't even know if people were able to, like, did they really go and investigate where the numbers were coming from, before these folks really got signed.
Like, one of the problems is what I've always been saying is that the A&Rs that just sit behind the desk and look at numbers, you can't do that, against, popular belief, numbers do lie.
Every day.
I'm sorry to break that to you, numbers do lie, and you have to get out there as an A&R if that's what your job is. You got to actually be in the trenches and go out there, go into these clubs, go into these venues and see the performance, see the turnout. You gotta, see if they command their attention, if, when you're out and about, is this really happening? Are they getting the fanfare? Are they meeting and greeting? Are they putting in the work? Like, you gotta be out there. You can't sit behind a desk and just, let me look at these numbers. Oh yeah, we good, let's sign them. Oh, the video looks nice, or the record sounds good, let's sign them. It's not good enough, unfortunately, And then there's another aspect of it that's lost as well, which is artist development.
Yeah,
there's no relationship between artists and A&R anymore. Like, you can't give a beat tape or send the beats to an A&R. They don't have a relationship with the artist. The artist ain't looking for that from them. They don't have that relationship for the most part.
The artists don't trust them. The artists don't trust their ear. The artist doesn't trust the music that's being brought to them. Like, before, as an A&R, you could say, hey, man, listen to this record here. This is produced by so-and-so. It got this hook on it. It's written by such and such. I think it's going to be good on your album. You don't have that input anymore.
But that's because they're not in the trenches with them. They're not in the studio with them day in, day out.
Yeah.
They're not going to the neighborhood. They're not. And I get it, because the neighborhood is dangerous. I get it. I get that part too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Your artist is targeted. You don't want to be in that passenger seat. I get that too. But it's
shit is real though. That's real shit. Like, it's dangerous. Like, that's really what it is. You don't want to be outside with a lot of these guys because the shit is dangerous now. And a lot of people ain't built for that type of shit.
Yeah. So then don't sign those artists then. You know what I'm saying? Because, Jug, we've been in plenty of situations around some artists that, I remember we went to the studio one time and there were guns all over
all over the center council. Everybody looked at it, they put their gun down when they got into the studio at that time.
I was like, oh, okay, this is what's going on.
Like, this is where it is right now.
You walk out into the lobby and it looked like the gym. Bunch of dudes working out and it's just like, yo, this is for real. Like, we in a prison yard. Like, it was crazy.
Listen, but
what I mean?
This is what we used to do, and we didn't feel no way about it because, again, we coming from the same simple, those type of environments. So it's not like you're not, you've seen it before. It's not like, not saying not that I'm trying to normalize it. I'm just trying to say it in a sense that because, this is a different era. People are a little bit more aggressive. You kind of knew how to navigate these type of rooms. Now people don't want no parts of these rooms.
Yeah, which I get it.
So it is what it is. But I want us to give some real takeaways here. And I want us to give some constructive criticism to the industry itself. And I think that the industry really needs to understand a few things that's not really being talked about. Right? We said from before, we said artist development.
Mm-hmm.
We said that artists basically need to be curating their audiences better. I don't think that social media or basically interacting with your people on socials is the way to truly curate a good audience for yourself. And I'm going to pivot into Meek Mill, new project. Is that Heathens? doing 6,000 in the first week, and an artist of that caliber should not have those type of numbers.
Yeah,
and that's because, again, there's no true curation of the audience. Like, if he's on socials, like, socials is not enough.
It's not enough at all.
It's not enough. It's just not. And for somebody who's had a career over 10 years as him,
as talented as he is, too.
As talented as he is, I'm going to keep asking, and I'm going to keep saying, like we said, we keep talking about it. Where is the direct-to-consumer relationship? He should have been able to sell 6,000 independent by himself off of his own website. Yeah. If that is even the case.
Yeah. Why need that label?
Right.
You might as well, if you're gonna sell 6,000, you might as well have done it on your own website, direct to consumer. 6,000 direct to consumer. Whew.
Yep. If he'd have did 6,000 direct, $10
direct to
ahead.
Consumer, physical, right? Maybe physical products, signed. That would have been special. Now that whole story turns around.
Yeah. Now that's something that is worth talking about. If he sold a limited edition vinyl for $40, that's 6,000. That's 6,000 people bought that. Like, this is a different situation, but they're not curating it. Nobody is talking about it.
And this is also away from the actual music content, because that's subjective. The actual music and how it sounds. We all got our personal stance on, the music itself. Yeah. And there's been this outcry lately for music to come back to its original region, for music to sound like where you're from, music to sound like where you're at, what you represent. It's been a outcry for that, and lately we're starting to see, records here and there popping out. Cam released a record a little while ago that sounded like, oh, okay, we're back to this, and it sounded very refreshing. I just heard last night, Busta Rhymes playing a record that sounded like, oh, this is the old New York East Coast, sound, and that's refreshing to hear, and if every region can create quality within their own sound, I think that also, and I'll go back to what I was saying earlier, that also brings value with the music.
Because now everything don't sound the same.
Right.
Now we're talking about it having some more variety,
right,
and a little bit more rarity. Like, you don't have an album that sounds like Michael, or
right,
you don't have an album that sounds like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
like there's no value in everybody's shit sound exactly the same.
Right.
The same fucking tempo, the same fucking kids,
same bop, the same
everything.
Meek Mill's album should not be sounding like Little Baby
or Little Durk.
Little Durk.
It shouldn't sound like that shit. He's too old to sound like that. That's number one. And number two, it's like you already got those guys. Those guys got their own curated sound. So when I'm listening to this album, I'm like, okay, listen to this auto-tune. I'm like, man, it's like, is this Little Baby's engineer? Like, I don't even, what I'm saying? Like, it sounds like the hooks and everything. I'm like, yo, bro, this is not you, bro. This is them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand that you're looking at the young folks and you're trying to get your new young fans. The truth of the matter is that you've been in the game 10 years. You don't need new fans like that. Like, you just curate your audience, put the best music that you're going to put out right quick. They're going to hold you at baseline. And whoever new want to fuck with it will fuck with it. You don't really got to really cater to, you're not going to be able to cater to a new audience to replace the old one. And I think that's always been the mistake that these guys are making. Is like, you can't get enough of a new audience to replace the ones that already support you.
Yo, these young kids can see through that shit anyway, man.
Yeah, they ain't fucking with it.
These young kids see through it. They know what's authentic. They know what's theirs and what's not. They know what's old and what's new.
I'm going to continue to say, for him, like, I hate to see that, like, because I think he's just too talented. Again, there's no no true curation of the audience. There's no real, outside of socials. Like socials is not true audience curation, man.
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize that yet. They don't get that you can have millions of followers on socials, and that doesn't mean that when your project comes out that you're going to get the support, because that's not a true curated audience. That's not people that really know. You're supposed to know who it is in terms of your list, and because you can see everything when you start sending out correspondence from your own list, from your own curated audience. You can see who's picking it up. You can see who's opening the emails. You can see who's downloading the attachments. That's data that you can take back, and you can say, okay, let's double down, triple down. This is what my fans are liking right now. This is what they're not liking.
You gotta have.
You guys are missing that.
You gotta have. You're right. You have to have somebody in your team that's trained and is focusing on that. Even if you as an artist are not focusing on that, you need to have somebody in your team so that when you go to that person and say, hey, what city should we go visit? That person could tell you, we need to go to this city, need to go to that city, because, the majority of people who picked up your product is from this city.
Yeah.
So we need to go there and reach out to those people who picked up the product, give them, backstage passes or whatever the case may be, and you cultivate that, be able to, shake hands, take pictures, give them maybe an exclusive song or something like that. They only got, like, just like perks. We got to give the people who rock with you, you got to give them perks, man. You got to make them feel special because they're the ones that got you in position. And if you're not doing that,
keeping the lights on, man.
Yeah, man, they're paying your bills. Let's be for real, man. Like, and if you're not doing that, then you're gonna have a hard time staying in this game.
I'm again. I don't like to see what's happening with this, and these guys have to. I think the main takeaway from this is that you have to start bringing back value to the music, and bringing value back to the music is going to mean, sounding like where you're from, creating something that's unique, providing more rarity. Mm-hmm. And I think guys really need to tap in to blockchain.
Yeah.
I think that is really the way. And I don't think that people don't want to give it enough props. I think because it seems like it's another platform to learn. Mm-hmm. But it's like, how do you make these collector's items again? That's the only way. Right?
Yeah.
And think about it. It has resale ability.
Right.
And royalty ability.
Yeah. Forever.
You would think that some technology like this would have caught wildfire by now. But this shit has been actively suppressed.
Yeah.
Like, they know. Like, if artists, if a Kanye West turn around and do some type of shit like this tomorrow, it sets the industry in the tailspin.
I think really, honestly, I think the problem with that is that that average consumer does not understand or even know about blockchain. The average, because it's going to, like, your artist can put it out, but it's going to take the consumer, to understand it so that they can get involved to be able to purchase it. Now, like someone like Kanye West, if he was to do that, that will force his consumers, that will force his fan base to find out, what is this technology? How do I get it? And it will force them to learn it. So I believe that someone like him is the person to make this happen.
But let's put it in a better perspective. If you're going to be honest, Kanye's current website, theyeezy.com, shameless plug for him, right? It's a Shopify store. You can sell NFTs through Shopify. Can't do it. There is a way to do it. So it doesn't require a learning curve per se. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The technology exists. The same way I can sell a vinyl and they'll it's a print on demand vinyl. I'm not stacking a whole bunch of vinyl over here. If you want to buy a vinyl from us, you're going to order it. It's going to go to a company. It's going to be drop shipped to you the same way the Yeezys are going to be drop shipped. Same shit. Right? You get the order. It's produced. It's dropped to you. So there are plugins for NFTs on Shopify that's already he can put into his infrastructure.
But it's also, but I think also that there should always be some understanding of it, because it kind of almost goes back to what we said about third party. If a third party doesn't like what you say, boom, they shut you down. So it's like you always should make sure that, at some extent, that you have some basic fundamentals and understanding of certain things, so that you can operate solely. If this person,
Shopify say they don't want you.
Somebody somewhere, you always gotta kind of think
two steps ahead.
Yeah, you always gotta make sure that, okay, then I'll go direct to blockchain, direct to wallet, these things. So it's a tricky time we're living in, and the key is always to ensure that you're doing the right things to live, to withstand what's coming, because it's a real messy time what's happening in the music business, and there's no telling what direction it could go or how fast, and you just want to make sure that you're grounded and you have something for yourself, because when the smoke clears, we'll see what happens.
It's beyond messy. In my opinion, it's beyond messy.
Yeah, Messy's putting it lightly.
Yeah, Messy's light. It's beyond messy. I just think that right now, we've been saying it, and we're going to continue to say it. You got to take it into your own hands. You got to educate yourself. You got to learn the technologies. You got to learn the platforms, and there are a lot of platforms. There are a lot of platforms, especially if we're talking about the AI space. There are a ton of platforms that are doing tremendous things that you never would have thought were possible just a year ago. It's incredible. But people have to go out here and learn, and hopefully we can create that platform. Hopefully we can have more guests that can give you more information on what's going on. And the name of the game for folks that are watching us is monetization of your content. Every last bit of it. Monetization, direct relationships with your fans. That's the way to success in 2024 and beyond. The days of just being able to say, hey, I'm going to put this song out and that's it. Those days are gone, man. You have to realize that it all comes with proper curation of your content, proper curation of your audience, and being able to build a relationship with your community so that you can monetize your art and make a living off your art.
Yeah, that's it.
Folks, it's Arkatech Beatz Music Business Podcast. Make sure you're checking us out at www.arkatechbeatz.com. Make sure you're following us on all socials. We're here every week dropping that free game for y'all. And if there's anything that y'all need to do with us, just shoot us a note or drop a comment, and we are sure to respond to that. But until next time,
peace.
Peace, everybody. Be safe out there.